Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I'm joined by my right-hand man, my man Paulie D, and you can find him on Twitter at Paulie D. That's why we call him Paulie 8Ds. Paulie, real quick, man, big ups to you, Joe, Cuse, Gady, the whole team, man, for holding me down while I was in Jamaica. Obviously, as you can see by the setup, I'm back fully sunburnt and everything. So I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem at all.
Yeah,
How
man.
was your trip? Good? Was it good?
Yeah, man. It was fun, man. The sun was hot. I mean, that's nothing new. The sun was hot, man. I lasted the whole trip. My wife and I both. We lasted the whole trip without sunburn. Everybody else getting sunburn. It was bad. And then literally the last day, it was a different kind of sun, man. If that makes sense, bro. It was a different kind of sun. And it left me with some scars, man. It really did, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, you went to the Caribbean in August,
yes.
bro. Like, that's a
dangerous time. It's a dangerous time to go, oh, for sure, man. And, like I got off the plane.
The equator, like, hottest time of the year.
Oh, shit. You're right about that. But, yeah, man, I had a blast, man. It was, it's funny, though, because, like, initially, like, I was like, okay, I could use this break. I haven't not played a DFS slate since I started doing the podcast, which was back in NBA season. So it was definitely cool to have the time up. But literally, like, 3 days in, I started, getting the itch. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
It's hard.
So,
it's hard to go that long, especially when you got, like, all that free time, when you're on, like, vacation,
Oh, yeah. Because it's like you got time to think about shit. So I'm laying on the beach. I'm thinking. But everything I'm thinking about has to do with the business. Has to do with Wise Take. Has to do with DFS. And so I'm like, yes, I got these great ideas. Oh, shit. I really can't do anything about that right now. It's just like, you know what I mean? But hey, man, you guys were holding it down for sure, man. I think like the second or third night I was gone, like the community had a huge night. Q took down some stuff. I know one of our members, Wisco, was taking down some stuff. So, hey, man, it's you guys were definitely holding it down. Especially the other day, Paulie, when like Joe started the show with you, and then he had to bounce because he had to ref a game, and so he had you on it. Yo, you were killing the one man show, man. I was impressed, bro. I'm sitting here watching because I know what it is. You know, Paulie, when you first discovered me on YouTube, I was by myself before we even had a chance to meet. I was, and so you could imagine, you could see how awkward I was, and so it's like it's not easy, man. And you held it down, man. You were killing it. It was like you were born. You're like, I'm good. It's just, so big ups, my man. For sure, man. But yeah, man, it's excited to be back. We got a lot of big things coming up. We were just talking about we got football coming up. We're all excited. I had my season-long team. I had my draft today. I know Joe's not here because he's got Joe takes the whole fantasy football season long to a whole new level. He's like you know what I mean? He's on another.
He's really good. Level. He's really good at fantasy football. Like I'm pretty pumped to have him in our corner for DFS this year.
Oh, 100%. So he's not with us today, but it's exciting, man, especially after drafting today. And I'm not gonna lie, I made a couple questionable decisions, but it really opened my eyes, and like it got me really excited about football, man. It's gonna be here. I think we're 2 weeks away or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like 14 days, not even like 10 days to the first game, like that Thursday night game.
Oh man, I'm pumped, man. I can't wait. Don't get me wrong, man. I love baseball, and we're professionals, Paulie. We're gonna ride this baseball season out for our subscribers. And do what we got to do, and we're still gonna play for baseball full swing. But man, football couldn't come soon enough. I'm so excited, man. I know you are too, Paulie.
Football. Yeah, I've been playing the preseason slates, and it's cool. It's a little taste, but like I cannot wait for week one, man. And, I've already been researching week one. Like I got all these ideas that are obviously going to be the best, and we're gonna win all the money, but. It's cool, man. It's very, very cool. I can't wait.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. It happens to be like most of our guys, Q's, Joe, me, you, like it happens to be all of our best sports. So I'm super excited to see some of the things that we're gonna bring to the Wise Take community and to our subscribers, man. It's definitely like it just kind of worked out great. We all love baseball, and we're all good at baseball. And so we went in like halfway through the baseball season. We launched and things were great, but we're ready to take it to a whole new level for football, and we're definitely pumped about that, man. Without further ado, though, we got some people watching that are waiting for us to talk about some baseball. So we got a decent slate, Paulie. You mentioned to me, you pointed it out to me actually that you're into the slate a little bit here, and I am too.
Yeah, it's a good one. And there's some good tournaments.
Yeah, man, some solid contests, and there's 10 games, so it's not too much, it's not too little. There's like enough for selection, but not too much to where you're overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, I love this size.
Let's do it, brother. First game we got is Lucas Sims of the Atlanta Braves visiting Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I like both these pitchers tomorrow. Lucas Sims actually been pretty good. He's not gonna get you like any massive ceiling, but on DraftKings as an SB2, he's actually in play. I know Philly's been a little hot, but it's really mostly been like one player. And Sims right-handed. He's got the platoon against him, and I think that home run, rally's got to come to an end at some point. So I think he could be in play. Like 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 or 5 Ks is definitely in play. And at his cost on DraftKings, you could pair him up with like a Scherzer or a Kluber or a Severino. There's a lot of high-end arms that you want to get. So usually we just disregard some of these lower-end guys, but we got to find a cheap one to pair tomorrow on DraftKings. I probably wouldn't go there FanDuel-wise individually, but for DraftKings, he's definitely in play. And then Aaron Nola is a very interesting pivot for FanDuel if you want to go down that route. I know the Braves don't strike out a ton, but it's not the same exact lineup they've been rolling with all year. When that lineup comes out, we'll see if it looks like there's a couple extra strikeouts, and if he's got a favorable ump, he could be in play as well. Because Nola's really turned the corner this year, and if he gets a lot of right-handers, he can have a dominant game. So he's in play to be an interesting pivot if all those things work out. In terms of the bats, I don't have much interest in either of these two spots. It's mostly just the 2 arms for me. Of course, Freddie Freeman one-off is fine, but until the guy starts hitting home runs again, I'm not going to go there. Like, he's admitted that he's not 100%. He said he's like 80, 85%, and he really hasn't been hitting for massive power. So I think there's probably better places to go for that kind of money on this slate. So, for me, it's really just the 2 arms. And, I can understand grabbing like a one-off on either side, to differentiate and things like that. But otherwise, it's just the arms.
Yeah, man, I think I'm definitely with you. Like you said, there's some one-offs that can draw some interest, like for instance, like Nick Williams or something like that. But I'm with you, man. I'm not the total here. It's kind of telling you a story of not too many runs, right? Like you're looking at this total and you're not dying to stack anybody here. But I like what you said about Nola for sure. Listen, in cash games, because of the lack of strikeout upside from the Braves, I don't think I can go there. But in tournaments, he, like you mentioned, Paulie, he's a really good pivot, and he's a big favorite, man. Minus 150. The Braves are only projected for 3.9 runs, and like you said, he's really turned the corner this year. In the beginning of the year, it was kind of rough for him. It took a while to get going, but lately, man, he's been on, and he's been one of our favorite pitchers, man. So I think that's a great point. Even for salary relief, he's only 10-2 on DraftKings. Looks like he's only 8-6 on FanDuel. So again, it's a situation like I don't think because of the lack of K upside and the small park, I don't think I can go there in cash. Just because, like you said, like I mean, it's like a slight circumstantial thing. But in the next game we have Severino and Kluber, so it's like what I mean. Like we do have some other arms that are probably safer, quote unquote.
More upside, more higher ceiling.
But in a GPP, we've seen Nola like do some work against teams that don't strike out. We've seen him do that before. We've seen him just get it done. So I can totally see this as a great GPP option for Nola, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Corey Kluber of the Cleveland Indians visiting Luis Severino of the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, obviously both these arms are in play. Something I'm going to dive into tomorrow. Both these pitchers are like at the top of their game. Kluber is probably the favorite for the Cy Young, if not just behind Chris Sale in the American League. And Severino's probably not too far behind. Like, he probably finished 4th in that race. And they've both been pitching great of late. Kluber put up like a 60 on the Yankees, or maybe it was even 70 on FanDuel. It was like 44 on DraftKings. That's a massive score on DraftKings. So, not too long ago. It's interesting in Yankee Stadium though. Like that game was in Cleveland. Like there's I got to dive into this a little bit more. We got to see the lineups, the umpires. I don't know if Kluber at 13-1 on DraftKings is going to be the best play against a Yankees team that's kind of waking up. So it's like I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that he's a guy that I'm just gonna say go to war with. But the Yankees do strike out. He did just dominate them. He is probably the best right-handed pitcher in baseball or in the American League. And, we're going to have to do a very, very deep dive on this and make our decision tomorrow. But, he's definitely going to be popular. We got to figure all those things out, the ownership and, are the Yanks going to get to him? Last game, he shut down the Yanks, but Gary Sanchez did take him deep. If there was another guy or two on base, different outcome. Now the Yanks have Starlin Castro back, Aaron Hicks back. It was a bit of a different lineup as well. So, we're gonna have to see. And then on the other side, I've been playing a lot of lefties against the Indians, and it's been paying off pretty well. Not so much with righties against the Indians. They've got a pretty awesome lineup for platoons. Like they got 4 switch hitters in there, and they can get very lefty, very righty. So I anticipate they're going to be coming at Severino with a lot of lefties tomorrow, and I don't know if I'd go that way either. It's these are 2 very, very good teams with their best pitchers, with playoffs in mind, fighting for positioning for the playoffs, especially the Yanks because they've haven't played as well lately and they've fallen a little bit, and now they got to fight a little harder. Where a few weeks ago it looked like they were going to coast into the playoffs. So it's an interesting game. Both pitchers are in play, but maybe one of these stacks is in play as well to be contrarian on a 10-game slate. And we've seen some stud pitchers get blown up lately, so it's not completely out of left field to take a shot, especially if building a bunch of teams. I can't give you a definitive answer just yet, but tomorrow before the slate starts, we will definitely have something locked down.
Yeah, man, I think you hit it right on the head. Kluber's a machine. In the chat, we see the comments. Kluber's a machine. Yeah, this year he has been a machine. But you're looking at a situation where he's going up against Severino, another solid pitcher. He's not basically even money. I think they're both at 104. It's pretty damn close. So it's not like he's some massive favorite here. And like you said, the Yankees, one, at home they've hit better all year. Yeah. And 2, they're starting to go back to that hot streak. They're starting to wake up. They got Castro back. He had a big game today. Yep. So yeah, right.
Healthy.
Oh, forget about it. Gary the GOAT has been just phenomenal. He's just been since the All-Star break. You called it. You said, yeah, I got to give you the props because you did say, now you're a Yankee fan, so it could just be you knew your team. Whatever it is, you were right. You said after the All-Star break, everybody's going to be high on Judge because of the home run derby, but watch, Gary the GOAT's going to be the one to go off, and he has. He 100% has. And Judge has been ice cold.
Ice cold, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping he wakes up soon because that's just the final piece that we need. If we get both these guys crushing, it's it's all she wrote. We're a tough team.
Oh yeah, and they're creeping up on the Red Sox, so it's definitely it's crunch time for them. So with that said, from a point per dollar perspective on DraftKings, I see your point on Kluber. 13-1 on DraftKings, especially because we it looks like we are going to have Mad Max on here. It's also a core slate. So that's a lot of money to spend against a team that's red hot in a small park. So again, we're not. Again, the Yankees do have the strikeout upside as a team. So we're not. I see your point. You don't want to disregard him because it's expensive. Because there's only 10 games, and he's one of the elite options on there. Yep. At the same time, we've got other guys to consider. We've got Nola, who we talked about. We've got Severino, who we talked about. We got Mad Max, and we even have the Shark going up against the Padres. So it's we have other options.
There's no clear path to a victory here, which, especially on FanDuel, I think you need that. It's a little easier, even though Scherzer's more expensive, to go Scherzer and just know you pretty much have that win guaranteed. Here, going Severino, and if he gets the win, he's probably going to be worth more point per dollar. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah, man, we can easily see, Kluber with 10 Ks, maybe gives up a couple runs, but Severino could he could get you maybe 8 Ks, but he can go through a complete game. So it's you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations, man. And And like, you know, I would have guessed if I was gonna play one of these two in cash, which I wouldn't. Like I said, we got Mad Max, so I'm not even saying that. I don't even know if I would right now. But if I were to, it's like you would say, okay, I'm going to go with Corey Kluber because there's more Ks in the Yankees. But the Indians have been striking out a bit more. Now, more so, like you said, against lefties. But still, in general, they've been striking out a little more.
Last 15 days, they're like third highest in baseball.
Yeah. So yeah, man, from a point per dollar perspective, at least Severino, he's at home. He's in the same park as Kluber. So, man, and I do think that Kluber's going to garner way more ownership than Severino. It's like if you're going to pay that high, you might as well just go for Kluber. I think that's the mentality that people are going to use with a guy like Kluber.
Kluber's like last week. Kluber was in a tough spot, and they pitched on the same slate, and Severino was in like a great spot. Mm-hmm. And I thought Severino was going to be like 30% owned, and Kluber was going to be like 10, and Kluber was still 30, you know, and Severino was like. So, yeah, I mean, guys are just on the Kluber train. He's going to be 30% owned tomorrow. I don't think there's any question about it. But
yeah. And
the
Yankees, they're too damn hot.
It's tough. You know, it's tough.
Yeah, man, they're too damn hot right now. I don't like picking on the Yankees when they're hot. And listen, I honestly do not think that the Yankees are going to tag up Kluber. I really don't. But it's just I just don't think that Kluber's going to be the only guy to have a good game. You know what I mean? So it's like, do we got to pay up for that? You know what I mean? That's the question. Speaking of Mad Max, Jose Urena of the Miami Marlins visiting Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, you know, and so this is interesting too because this is like Max's first start since like August 13th. You know, he did like a quick stint on the DL, I believe. It was that he actually got scratched. Remember that slate? Like we recommended the shit out of him, and he got scratched and like
we got the
news like 3 minutes, and we all pivoted to Kluber.
Yeah. And Kluber had a shit game that day too.
Yeah, he didn't do that well. Yeah, that was the day Kluber busted it. I think it was against like Tampa or
the Royals. It was against the
Royals. Against the Royals, yeah. Yep. Yeah, like we recommended no Kluber, and like we're forced to pivot to him.
We ended up on all Kluber.
News. Yeah, you know, like the Max news came out at like 8:12, and like you know Kluber's start was at 8:15. He was the only guy that like made sense.
Well, you know, the good thing that day was at least like our members were off of Scherzer by the time like we were able to inform our guys in the chat. Like everybody, Scherzer's out. Everybody freaked out for a sec, but everybody ended up rebounding. They all pivoted, and even though Kluber busted, there was still a good portion of the field that still had Max. So it was like you still ended up okay as long as you picked anybody but him.
He still got like 40, you know, but it was like it was a floor game for him.
Yes.
Yep. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Max, they might be a little cautious with his pitch count. You know, like the Nationals are clearly in the playoffs already. The team's banged up. Like, I don't know if this is a Max ceiling game either. And he's 14-1 on DraftKings. Like, that's expensive. Like, he's got to get a 35 at minimum to pay that tag off, you know. And, like, Giancarlo Stanton's the hottest guy on earth right now. That's going to be an interesting matchup. When Scherzer does get hit, it usually is with the long ball. You know, it's another like I probably think I'm going to be off both these two guys, Scherzer and Kluber, tomorrow. Like they're both a little too overpriced in my opinion, and there's a little bit of flaws in both their spots. You know, like I expect Scherzer to do fine here, but it might just be like 6 innings, you know, 9 Ks, that kind of performance. And you know, if Stanton does get to him or you know, a Yelich or an Ozuna, like a couple of earned runs given up, it's not that, you know, it doesn't pay off that price tag either. You know, the Marlins don't strike out all that much. Again, we'll have to see like what their lineup construction is like tomorrow and, you know, what the umpire presents itself to be. But right now, my thinking is these guys are a little too overpriced on DraftKings, and there's other cheaper pivots that allow you to get some bats because there's also a couple games with some really good offensive spots. So this is an awesome slate with tons of ways to go. But, you know, obviously Max is in play. I think he's probably your best cash game guy. I don't know what he is on FanDuel. I don't think he is anything on FanDuel because he just got announced as the starter, so I don't know if we know his price on FanDuel yet.
I'm seeing 11.5 on FanDuel.
11.5. And that's actually high for what FanDuel's been pricing studs lately, but 11.5 is not that bad. Like, you know, FanDuel can price guys into 13K, and, you know, that's probably what Max should be priced right now. So, 11.5 probably still builds up a bit around them.
Here you go. And you mentioned max and cash, and I totally agree. I think it's a spot where it's like, I think enough people will do. Would go with the safety of that. On FanDuel, Kluber 11-2, Scherzer 11-5. Cash games.
Wow, so it's 300 cheaper. Sure.
Yeah.
Kluber. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'd go Kluber in cash. Like, he's not even a favorite. Scherzer's like a -2 something favorite. So I think Scherzer.
Especially on FanDuel, right? Like,
yeah.
What
On FanDuel, I think it's just throw Scherzer
$300 more. It's just
Yep.
Great call, man. I'm definitely with you. What about your boy Arena? You were big on Arena against the Nationals one day, and he paid off for you. He had a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. He is 6'7" on DraftKings. That's not bad. We'll have to see what kind of lineup we get here. And I don't know what Urena's done lately, honestly. I just haven't played him in a bit. But he's a big underdog. The Nationals have a 5 implied total. Maybe. Like, he's a possible SB2 on DraftKings. Definitely not a guy we'd play on FanDuel.
Yeah, for sure. Marco Gonzalez, the lefty from the Seattle Mariners, visiting Chris Tillman of the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, we finally talk about some bats.
There we
Chris
go.
Tillman, man, this guy's just been a nightmare all year long. We got the Mariners 5.4 implied total. We got Baltimore 5.8. This guy Marco Gonzalez has not really impressed so far this year. I think he's really, pitching as a necessity, not because they think he's talented and, want to give him a look. So both these teams are in play. Baltimore's been one of the hotter teams lately. Guys like Beckham, Machado, Scope, Jones, Mancini, Trumbo. They're definitely all in play tomorrow in this park with that total. It's a great spot. And on the other side, I like the Mariners. I really like Gene Segura in this matchup. He's finally been healthy. Came back like 2-3 weeks ago. He's starting to make stronger contact. The exit velocity's up, and he's got some speed. He can steal against Tillman here. I think Segura is going to be a good shortstop play tomorrow. And, Nelson Cruz, Cano, Yonder Alonso, Mitch Haniger, this whole team's in play as well. So definitely no interest in the pitchers, and both sides of the play, both teams for the bats will definitely be in play tomorrow.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more here. The total kind of tells the story.
Yeah.
The game probably won't get as much attention as it should, just because the simple fact that we have a Coors game. We have Jordan Zimmerman pitching in Coors today. So I do have a feeling that people are, like, especially on DraftKings with the pricing, like Machado's 5.4, and, like, you can just play Arenado in Coors against Zimmerman. So I do think that, even though Baltimore has kind of, in Seattle too, even though both these teams have been swinging the bats well, we can see these guys, and I'm not saying they're going to go overlook completely, but they may go overlook more than they should. Like, if there wasn't
Seattle will probably get overlooked,
Right.
But Baltimore, I don't know. They've been really hot.
Well,
but the thing about the slate, though, is like, you're not going to be able to play Coors or Baltimore with,
right, if you pay up.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of decisions you made on this slate.
Yeah, and like that's kind of my point. It's like, assuming that everybody pays up for at least one guy on DraftKings, right? You're not going to be able to play both. You're going to have to pick one, Baltimore or the Rockies.
Yeah.
And so just because of its Coors, people have a tendency to lean that way. And like there was a short span where people leaned the other way, and then Coors would burn them. So like I think everybody's kind of back on that. No, back to Coors. And so it's like, you know what I mean? Like I do think like people are going to want to play Baltimore. It's just if they pay up at pitcher, I don't know that they'll be able to afford paying up for Baltimore and paying up for the Rockies. And I just feel like they're going to pay up. Like, I think that they would rather target against Zimmerman than Marco Gonzalez. Like, I do. So, like, they'll be on everybody's radar, and, like, they will have ownership, but probably not as much as they maybe should. You know what I'm saying? Like even on a 10-game slate, just because, like you said, there's a lot of tough decisions to make. You got to decide who you're going to pitch. You're gonna if you pay down for pitcher on both spots, then sure, maybe you can play both of these guys. But I don't think too many people will. I think that a lot of people are going to at least pay up for at least one of these guys. You know what I'm saying? And even that can tamper your lineup construction.
Yeah, I mean, Scherzer at 14-1 on DraftKings. That's expensive. Like,
oh yeah, that's gonna be tough to work with.
You got to grab a guy at 5K, to have any salary left.
You might have to pitch Tillman salary relief. Oh man, you couldn't do that. You get you a negative. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man, I'm with you though. This is definitely. Love the bats on both sides, man, and you're absolutely right. This is a situation where Tillman's been just as bad as anybody. Tillman's been as bad as Zimmerman, if not worse. And and you're right. Seattle very well could go overlooked.
Yep. For sure.
Let's see. Drew Pomeranz, a lefty from the Boston Red Sox, visiting Marcus Stroman of the Toronto Blue Jays.
I think Toronto. Boston is going to be one of my spots tomorrow. They were ice cold this weekend. Like, I don't know what's happened, but on this slate, as I'm thinking about it, like you need to catch one low-owned stack that's right, and then make it work with the rest of your team. And this Boston team, like nobody's going to be on them. Stroman's a respected pitcher, but he hasn't really been pitching that great lately. And, they're on the road. They only have a 4.2 implied total. So I'm very interested in Boston, especially the lefties. Mitch Moreland's really been hot. Benintendi, Mookie Betts, Hanley, Devers. They're a good team. They can wake up at any time. And I don't think they're just going to, like, roll over and die at the end of the year here. Like, this is Boston. And this could be a get-right spot when nobody's on them. So this is a spot I'm very interested in. And then on the other side, Pomeranz has been pitching awesome, and at 8.8, he is definitely interesting to me. We'll have to take a look what he throws. I'm not sure how many sliders he throws or not, but if he does, that would make him even more appealing to me. We know Toronto struggles versus that. And I got to dive into Toronto's overall numbers versus lefties. I know they don't strike out much, which, paying 8.8 for Pomeranz, like, he's going to be low on because, like, you can't pair him with any of those high-end guys. It's like if you go him, you're going like I want to stack cores, and I'm getting too cheap. So we'll have to see. Like that's interesting. I think the taking two cheap pitchers and stacking up bats is an interesting approach to tomorrow. Not 100% sure if that's the way I want to go, but that's something that is piquing my interest right now. But Boston bats are definitely in play for me, and then for Toronto, Justin Smoke's always in play. Donaldson, Pierce, if he's leading off, and we'll have to see how those profiles match against what Pomeranz throws.
Yeah, man, I thought it was pretty cool that they decided to lead off Pierce against lefties because he is historically he's a lefty master. That's kind of why they brought him there. When he was where was he? The Rays, I think last year.
Rays.
Yeah, he was with their lefty specialist, and the Rays have been significantly worse against lefties since guys like him left. So. I thought that was pretty, I thought that was noteworthy, especially like you put him in front of Donaldson. It's like, you know what I mean? Who's been heating up a little bit. So, but you're right, man.
And Donaldson's been on. He's hit like 12 homers this month. It's more than.
Well, you know what though? I played him today in cash, my first game back, and he got me pretty much nothing. So he's on my shit list. He won't be tomorrow. But right now he is. So he's not going to get the full credit. I downgraded his hotness because of what he did to me today, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah, recency bias is a good thing. I like recency bias.
Yeah. But yeah, man, he's definitely been red hot. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Pomeranz is a guy you have to wonder. He's a guy we got to dig in on because exactly what you said. We got to see how Toronto profiles exactly because, like you said, Toronto doesn't typically have the K upside we're looking for, but Pomeranz has been playing better. And the Blue Jays have been odd, man. Like they've been odd as in like they're so reverse splitsy this year. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they've had like lefties have just
nothing or like they hit 4 home runs and like they win slate. It's very weird.
Absolutely. I do think the call on Boston is intriguing. You like that, huh? I avoided the other I word and I went with intriguing instead.
There you go. Mixing it up, I like. Did you learn? Is that what happens when you go to Jamaica for a week?
Bro, you just sit with a dictionary.
Your vocabulary just takes off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. He's like cool stuff like that too. But yeah, I'm with you, man. It's paying down like the chalk build, so to speak, is going to be paying up for at least one of these guys. So that means that there's going to be a lot of these bats, expensive bats, that can't be played. It's just, people can't afford them.
Yeah.
Boston has been ice cold, like you said, but we always want Boston. Like, you never want chalk Boston, right? Like, you always want Boston alone. And this is a spot, like you said, people will not be on them. They won't. There's too many better spots that we've already talked about. And Stroman, like you said, he's a respected pitcher. So this is definitely a game that I don't want to. I don't want to ignore this game. Like, first look, you're looking like, I don't know, Pomeranz, the K upside's not there. Stroman, the K upside's not there. And then you're looking at the bats, and you're like, I don't know, these pitchers are pretty good. But at the end of the day, this could be one of those games where, like, if you get this spot right, it could really separate you from the rest of the field. Because I think a lot of people are just going to ignore this game completely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the total's like 8-5. Like, that's pretty low for these two teams. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
And both sides are still like expensive, like your Bautistas, Donaldsons, the guys you want to play, they're still priced up. So it's no like discount to go that way. You still have to like differentiate a pitcher to get them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Trevor Williams of the Pittsburgh Pirates visiting Mike Montgomery of the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. So this Mike Montgomery spot I actually love. I would pitch him on FanDuel if going with the expensive bat route, and I'm going to try to make him be one of my pitchers tomorrow on DraftKings. Pittsburgh is doing very, very bad against lefties of late. 4th worst WRC plus, 6th most Ks in the last 30 days against lefties. So, I don't think anyone will go there, and I think at his price and the upside that he has, he's got K upside. If he gets a good umpire, I'll be all in on this spot, and I really, really like it. So Mike Montgomery, that's the Paulie D play tomorrow, as of now.
Paulie D play.
And on FanDuel, that's the guy. If you want to stack Coors, Baltimore, that's the guy to go to. I think he's got a chance to put up like a 50. Chicago's been hot. They're probably going to get him some run support. He'll be in line for the win. The wind is blowing in. It's a good pitcher's park when that's going on. So all we need is a crappy Pittsburgh lineup and a good umpire, and all the formulas are there for this to work out. So I like this spot a lot, and I like some of the Cubs bats. Not like a full stack, but I think they're going to be another spot that's underused for what they can do. They've been pretty hot lately. This guy Williams has pitched well of late, and because of that, I think he's a little too overpriced for this slate and against the Cubs. So no interest in Williams, although we have been using him a bit. But guys like, Chris Bryant, Schwarber's been hot, Hap's been hot, and Anthony Rizzo's been hot. They could be, 10% owned tomorrow, and that could be an interesting spot on this slate. And it's not like it's a huge wind blown in. It's like 8 miles per hour right now. So, if they continue to stay hot, that could be a good pivot off of the chalkier spots.
Yeah, I think it's a great call, especially with Mike Montgomery, man. Like, it's funny because I'm looking at this and I'm like, Andrew McCutchen is 3-7 on DraftKings against a lefty, a mediocre lefty at that. And I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, it's okay, something's not right here. So then I went ahead and I pulled up the recency stats on Fangraphs. Okay, what's going on? Yep. Wow, man, they've been striking out a ton, man. Yep. What is wrong with them right now? They don't look, they're not resembling anything of what they resembled all year. Not that they've ever been an explosive offense this year, but one thing they haven't done is strike out. And they've been really, really not doing a good job of that lately.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And if you look at Montgomery, he's pitched well lately.
Yeah.
Actually, let me read these stats off to you, because this is like what initially put me on him, and I was like blown away. I had no idea that he's been doing this well. In the last 15 days, all right, and on this slate, so you're comparing him to the rest of these guys, his hard hit rate is 17%. All right, that's crazy elite. All right, line drive rate is 12%. So nobody's hitting him hard at all. His ground ball rate is 64%. Fly ball rate's only 23. The exit velocity is 87, which is 3rd best on this slate. And the distance he's allowed is 172, by far the best on this slate. So, the last 3 starts, he's been the man, and, for his price and for how low owned he's going to be, I really, really, and for how bad Pittsburgh's been doing versus lefties, I love this spot.
I can't disagree with you, man. That 7-1 on DraftKings SP2s, we just talked about all the expensive options as SP1s. And, you know, as we're looking around here, like, one thing we're having a hard time doing is finding, like, that cheap guy as an SP2 to give you some of the salary relief. And, yeah, man, this guy fits the bill. I mean, like you said, the wind's not blowing in drastically to where it's like, oh, yeah, like, we're going to avoid the hitters completely because I'm with you. I definitely think the Cubs are in play. They're just too good of an offense, and they're starting to wake up. We just can't ignore them. Yep. And of all the pitchers on the slate, I'm sorry, like Trevor Williams, like you said, we've been playing him, we've been touting him, he's been pitching well for us. But like of all the pitchers on the slate, he's one of the, you know, he's not one of the better ones. So let's just put it nicely like that. So yeah, I think he's definitely attackable.
Yep.
And yeah, I like that call, Montgomery, man. I really do. He has been pitching better. And I don't see people feeling so comfortable to attack Pittsburgh, but I don't think too many people are really going to look and realize that they have been striking out lately.
Yeah, no one's going to know that. And, like, at 7-1, you know, like, pairing him with Kluber, it's high, but it's not, like, crazy. Like, we like to stay around 18,000. That's 20.2. Like, you can make that work if you can find one or two really good value bats. You know what I mean? And then, you know, like, what I really like is going with Severino or Nola. All right, so Nola's 10-2 on DraftKings. So, like, if you know, he's got a good umpire and we don't like the Atlanta lineup, if Matt Adams is not in there, like, he hasn't been very often, that's one lefty that I'd worry about. You know, like, if there's a bunch of righties in there, Nola at 10-2 and Montgomery at 7-1, you're going to get both these guys under 5%. And, you know, if they both do their thing and outperform their price, you're in a really, really great spot with much more money for bats than anyone else does.
Yeah, man. No, definitely. Here's a question. We don't normally do this mid-show, but it's an interesting enough question. Roderick Pope, one of the guys over here on the chat, he wants to know Pomerantz and Montgomery paired together on DraftKings. I'd like to know your thoughts.
Yeah, it's possible. You know, I mean, it depends on Pomerantz's profile against Toronto. Like, I just didn't know what to say about Pomerantz. I might love him, or it might be terrible. You know, like, I feel like he throws curveballs, and that's not good versus Toronto. Mm-hmm. But Pomerantz has been doing well, and then that's 16K. You can get a lot of good bats together. I like that. But is Pomerantz? What's the favorite on like? What's the spread on that Pomerantz game?
He's plus 106.
Plus 106. Like, I do not love that, but it's possible. You know, the Blue Jays just have not been striking out a ton. Unless Pomerantz throws like 30% sliders, then I'll change my tune. But I really don't think that's what he throws, and I'm not going to look it up now. But by tomorrow, we'll have a better look. But that's kind of like what I'm looking for on this slate is another guy from 8K to 11K to pair with Montgomery tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And listen, guys, we still got a couple games to go through, and there's still a couple names worth mentioning. So I think that we can totally agree on Montgomery as an option, but we don't necessarily.
It might be Pomerantz, but I'm just not sure yet.
Right. He's a question mark. Whereas I think Montgomery is more of like that definitely interest. Pomerantz is more of a question mark. Yes, DFS plug, looking like a scholar. I have a severely bad sunburn on my nose, and so this covers it up. I'm doing it for you guys. You guys don't have to stare at. I don't want you to stare at this thing all day, man. It'll be distracting. You won't listen to a damn thing we say. You'll just be like, whoa. So I'm just pulling a professor look. I like it though. I look sophisticated. I feel like. All right, Paulie. Austin Pruitt of the Tampa Bay Rays visiting Ian Kennedy of the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, not interested in any of these two pitchers. Pruitt, he has digressed his last few starts, and he got lit up in his last start. Kansas City, they're in a fight for the playoffs. They're a good, scrappy team. I don't see a world in which I could go to Pruitt. And I'll probably be looking to pick on him with certain guys in this lineup tomorrow that are cheap, like Brandon Moss or Alex Gordon. You know, some cheap left-handed power that'll help make other spots work. And Ian Kennedy's a guy I want to pick on too. We've seen Tampa Bay kind of come alive a little bit of late. Some of the power hitters are hitting for power, Duda and Dickerson. And I really like the spot for Steve Souza. He's expensive though. But if you could fit him, I really like this for Steve Souza tomorrow.
Yeah, this is an intriguing spot because I think last year, right? If this was last year, I think we'd be all over Kennedy because he showed the upside, he showed the promise. The Rays were striking out a ton, but this year, Kennedy has not been like the Kennedy of last year. Kennedy's been he just hasn't gotten it done. His swinging strike rate, everything, it's just not working. And so I could see people like, oh, Kennedy against the Rays. And just kind of tossing him out there as an option, just thinking like, oh, it's easy. If I want to go cheap, he's the guy I'll go with. I feel like, and I feel like it's just not the right time. Look at this lineup: Kiermaier, Duda. Like, okay, so forget about Longoria, he sucks. Logan Morrison, Dickerson, Souza. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I want. I don't think I want to pick on these guys right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Let me read you some Kennedy stats. All right, so do you remember the Montgomery stats? 172 distance, 87 exit velocity, 17% hard contact. Yeah. All right. So Ian Kennedy, 269 distance, 97 exit velocity, 51% hard contact.
Oh man. Yeah, I think he was talking on to the Rays.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 269 average distance, like that's like 285 is a home run in some parks at the corner. That's his average. That's his average. So yeah,
it's a home run in some parks. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I think I'm with you, man. And like initially, like I didn't like Kennedy at first look, but I wasn't really big on the Rays either. But I think I will have some interest, and mainly because of their pricing. Yeah, they're pretty cheap, man. Lomo's only 3.5. Dude is only 3.8. Even what's his name?
What's
Ramos. He's 4.7. He's up there a little bit.
You're talking DraftKings,
yeah. I'm talking DraftKings, yeah.
But Wilson Ramos and Brad Miller at the bottom of that order. They're on the road. Yeah. Dickerson, like a Dickerson Ramos Miller stack. Souza, Dickerson, Ramos Miller. They're on the road, so they're going to get those at-bats. They're very, very cheap. Brad Miller, 2.6. Ramos, 3.1. Ian Kennedy, he doesn't discriminate. He'll give up home runs to lefties and righties. This could be like a great, cheap stack to add to your lineup to make other things work and, probably be pretty low owned. Like, I think there'll be more guys playing Kennedy tomorrow because of his price and the strikeouts potential against the Rays than people stacking the Rays against Kennedy.
Agreed, 100%. I think more people will play Kennedy than will play Montgomery. I really do.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I really do.
Yep.
All right. Jordan Zimmerman of the Detroit Tigers visiting Antonio Senzatella of the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting spot. Let's actually look at Jordan Zimmerman's numbers. And then those three hot categories. So he's got a 233 distance, a 92 exit velocity, and a 50% hard hit rate. Hello. Oof. All right. So, he hasn't given up quite the distance of Ian Kennedy or the exit velocity, but they're still poor numbers. Like distance, you want it at like 205 and less. Exit velocity, you want it at like 90 or less. And hard hit, you want it at like 30 or less. So he's significantly over all those spots. And, my boy Carlos Gonzalez in every lineup tomorrow because I'm still waiting for that double down game. But even while I'm waiting for that, he's been doing well for me. He's batting like 380 since that thing started. He has hit a couple homers. He's got a lot of multi-hit games. He's doing well. So this could be like the Carlos Gonzalez week where it finally all comes together. So, I like that against Jordan Zimmerman. And all the rest of these guys are in play too. Blackman, LeMahieu, Arenado, Parra, Mark Reynolds. Rockies are probably a good spot. You almost have to build more than one lineup tomorrow. You have to get one with like pay up for pitching and get value, and then one where you do the flip and grab cores in Baltimore and some Tampa Bay and pay down a pitcher and just go to war with both and see which one pays off.
Yeah. That is a great call. I was gonna say when you mentioned Carlos Gonzalez, I was like, I believe it's still August, right?
A few more days.
Paulie D play of the month.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. Give me the bats here.
What do you Detroit bats too?
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna ask you what your thoughts on Senzatella against the Tigers was.
I mean, I think like Upton and Miggy are like guys that you'll want to play in this matchup. He's a soft throwing righty. He doesn't scare me. He does get a lot of ground balls, and there's this thing about teams struggling in their first game in Coors and then their first game out of Coors. So, I don't know if I would do a stack of the Tigers here. And I think guys will go to them because people like playing the Tigers. And Upton's just been a crazy fire. But he's expensive. Like, he's only a couple dollars cheaper than Stanton, So he's really got to get you like that 3-run bomb to pay off 5-5 on DraftKings. And more expensive than Arenado against Zimmerman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's different positions, but I don't know. Still, like Senzatella's got good ground ball rates. We'll see how he profiles, but I wouldn't pitch Senzatella. I just don't know how much I'll be picking on him.
Right. Is Miggy still suspended? Is he still going to be suspended?
He's suspended, but he's appealing it. It's probably not going to have a decision on the appeal for a couple more days. So he'll probably
play.
Yeah. All those guys are still going to be playing. Probably like middle of this week. That suspension will come down, or it'll get reduced, but they'll start serving it middle of this week.
Man, listen, I know Miggy's not having the greatest year, and I have some concerns here because, like you said, Senzatella has a good ground ball rate, and Miggy does hit a lot of ground balls himself, but still, he's 3.8 on DraftKings.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, I played him the day after the fight. He homered, he had multiple hits. That could have been something that woke his ass up, and now a trip out the course, that could keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, when stuff like that happens, man, a lot of times not just Miggy, but the whole team will get fired up, man. He's the leader of their team. He's the clear veteran guy. So they see him get all fired up. He's throwing fisticuffs in a season that don't matter anymore. He don't care. He's still willing to fight for his team and fight for his pride. And it's you can see this team just kind of wake up and say, you know what, man, we don't want to be the punks of the league. That's not who we are. So let's just finish out this year. And so, I think that's certainly a good point, man.
Yep.
Daniel Gassett of the Oakland Athletics visiting Andrew Heaney of the Los Angeles Angels.
Let me see what these guys' prices are.
6.9 on DK for Gassett and 5.1 for Heaney. The line is very suspect here. Why is Heaney a minus 170 favorite?
Because he's good and he's got K outside.
And he's 5.1. He's cheaper than Gassett.
Yeah, he's going to be chalk tomorrow, Andrew Heaney. He had some ownership in his last start, and he struck out the side in the first inning and was doing all right. Then, gave up some runs, but he still had a pretty good start, I believe, if I'm remembering that right. So at 5.1, he's going to be the guy. Against the A's, they strike out a lot. They struggle versus lefties. He's a big favorite. This is going to be a very, very chalky spot. So hopefully we can find a way to fade that, maybe grab some Oakland leverage against them. Oakland's been hitting the ball a little bit better lately too. So I don't know if I want to jump on Heaney when he's going to be 30 or 40%.
Well, you know what? I just pulled up I only see 2 starts in his game logs.
Yeah.
I'm looking at DraftKings right now. 7.1 and 6.5 were his scores. It looks like he gave up 5 earned runs against Baltimore and then 4 against Texas. He's given up 4 He gave up 4 home runs against Baltimore and 3 home runs against Texas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are people gonna still just keep going to him? He's got an 8.1 ERA right now.
Well, what kind of scores did he get on DraftKings?
6.5 and 7.1.
Oh, those were his totals?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game. It looks like I'm trying to find his Ks. His 4 Ks and 5 Ks in those 2 games. Yeah, I don't know. I know that this kid is supposed to be good. I know that. But I'm not sure that people I know he was super chalk the last time he played, and it didn't go well.
It didn't go well. Maybe he won't be.
I don't know.
That's a great price for game in Anaheim with a guy who's supposed to be a good pitcher against. I don't know. He'll have more ownership than he should. Is more than likely though.
Yeah, it's just simply because of his price. I can see a lot of people, and at that point, it's even. For a lot of people, it's more so a play against Oakland. So it doesn't really matter so much who it is. They're just going to play the guy against Oakland because they're already paying up for Kluber or Scherzer or one of those guys.
Yeah, and he makes those guys work at that price.
Yes, exactly. So I definitely
on the other
see
side, Gossett, I don't think he's in play, at 7K on DraftKings. But yeah, he's not. It's just too much for an SP2.
I don't think he's in play, but
no.
Yeah, no, he's not.
And but I don't really see picking on him a ton. I'm not 100% sure on that. I gotta take a look at what he throws, but I doubt we'll be picking on him, and especially in this park. It's just very unlikely. But a guy like Louis Valbuena or like CK013 or like the value guys that could help tomorrow, or like Caleb Cowart. So like a one-off Angel guy could help tomorrow to like fit those pitchers. But there's no way we're like stacking the Angels here tomorrow.
No, there's just too many other spots with upside. Although I will admit, 5.5 run.
I know. I just saw that. I'm like, what?
Like, damn.
It's a weird line. You're right. We'll have to see how Vegas responds tomorrow.
Yeah, man. And the thing about it, like, I'm even with Heaney, like, I'm very interested there. Even if he is somewhat chalky, just because, like, I think like avoiding the first tier options and like playing Heaney could still be okay. Like if Heaney does fine, but doesn't do fantastic. You know what I'm saying? But like you make it up by getting the same production from a cheaper guy as your SP1 as the Scherzer or Kluber does that night. And then the difference is you now have the salary to pay for the bats. So if Heaney's chalk, that's worrisome. You never want a young pitcher chalk. Like, you never want some young rookie guy as making chalk against, especially the A's. Because as bad as they are, we've seen them go nuts, especially against lefties. Like we've seen them do it.
Yeah, Chris Davis hit like 3 home runs the last 4 days. Like he's heating up, So I hear you. Tough park though.
Yeah, tough park, definitely. Yeah, man. I think that I think we're gonna have to dig on this Heaney guy tomorrow, man. But I think you're right. I think he will be popular. But we still might have to just take a second look because that line is just wow. You know what I mean? 170 for a guy that hasn't done shit yet. Granted, the two teams he played are a lot better than the Oakland A's. Like you know what I mean? The offenses he's seen were some pretty tough ones in comparison.
Yep.
We'll take a look at that tomorrow for sure. All right, last game, Paulie. Jeff Samardzija of the San Francisco Giants visiting Jules Chacin of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, man. I didn't even see this game when I initially looked at this slate, and like these are the two guys to pair with Montgomery to get that cheap build. Samardzija against the Padres, team that strikes out a ton. He's only 9K, so that works great. And then Chacin at home against those just ridiculously terrible hitting Giants team this year. Hopefully there's a bunch of righties in there, not too many lefties. Either one of them could very well be in play and make a very good pairing with Montgomery.
Yeah, man, I think that's a great call, especially with Chacin. Like it's no secret his home and road splits, but again, the Giants are another team similar to the Pirates. Oh, we don't like to target them because they don't strike out, but this Giants team can any day. The lineup they're putting out every day, any day they can just decide to strike out a ton. And so I do think it's kind of strange that the Shark, who is considered a good pitcher in like the baseball books to many, right? Chacin is, even though people will play Chacin at home, I don't think very many people consider him a good pitcher. But they do consider Samardzija a good pitcher, right? And yet, here we are. Chacin is a slight favorite. It's not a lot, but still, he's a slight favorite in a low total game. So at 7-6, like I would think he's just as in play as the Shark is here.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is. Like if I had to pick like which pitcher to grab like a one-off against, it would probably be a Padres bat. Like I could see myself doing like a Solarte one-off or like a Spangenberg one-off before I grabbed like, I don't know, Brandon Crawford maybe. So. I just think the Padres have actually been hitting the ball a little bit lately. The Giants have just been like, death. So yeah, but I think both these pitchers are in play. You could even play both these pitchers on the same team tomorrow.
Yeah, man, you could just say screw it, just play both the pitchers and just load up on the bats, man.
Yeah, and just hope for like a 1-0 game. If there's a great umpire, it could actually make a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, no, I could totally see that coming through, man. Yeah. Definitely. So I put it out in the chat that we could field a couple questions if anybody has some. But what I do want to do, Paulie, is I'd like to take this opportunity. I haven't done this with you yet. Let's make a DK pick'em lineup. Are you down to do that, bro?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I made one with Joey last week.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a chance to do it with you yet. I know that you and Joey got to do one. I got to do one with Q's. It's fun, man. Like, look, honestly,
yeah, I'm just gonna log in and build and throw it into a tournament, whatever we build.
Yeah, why not, right? It's just like, hey, why not? Let me just pull this up here, but we got a lot of good feedback for it. So hey, listen, like you know how it is, Paul. It's our mantra. If the people want it, we bring it.
Yeah.
Let me know when you have it pulled up, man. We'll go ahead.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Oh, I like that. All right, man. So for tier 1, we got Kluber, Severino, Nola, and Scherzer. And again, we're building a GPP lineup here.
Yes. Wow.
Nola?
I'm gonna say Scherzer. I mean, with no price.
Oh yeah. If you don't have to worry about price, then absolutely.
Yeah.
The advantage of the pick'em contest. All right, so we got Scherzer in tier 1. Tier 2, Montgomery's at the top. Montgomery, Stroman, Pomeranz, Cassette, Lucas Sims, Samardzija, Chacin, and Urena.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on Montgomery, and there's not even like an arm here that that would, if it was like Severino, I'd be like, all right, like I know I'm all in on Montgomery, but it's Severino. Like like Samardzija, is definitely in play also, Chacin, but I really like Montgomery tomorrow, so he's my guy.
I'm with it, man. Tier 3, Anthony Rizzo, Machado, Cruz, Betts, Trout, Upton, Blackman, and Arenado. Wow, that's quite the tier.
That is quite the tier. Wow. I'm going to say Nelson Cruz. What do you think?
I like that call. I do. I think Cruz will go overlooked tomorrow. He's an expensive outfield bat, big stud bat that people just like. There's options that people are going to prefer to go elsewhere. People are going to prefer to play the Blackmans. They're going to prefer to play, some of these other options. Even a guy like Trout, I can see a lot of people trying to get to. So I don't see too many people dying to play Cruz. I really don't.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm with it. And it's Tillman, too. That guy's just got awful. Like you said, he don't discriminate. Tier 4, Hosmer, Kiermaier, Bryant, Tim Beckham, Josh Donaldson, Parra, LeMahieu, and Rendon. Little disappointed not to see your boy Cargo here, man.
Yeah, it'd be in the next one probably, and we'll be locking him in. I think I'd go Chris Bryant. He's been heating up, and his best pitch that he hits is actually a curveball from righties. So pretty sure Williams throws those. If he doesn't, we'll come back and maybe make a change here. I mean, if you like somebody better though, like I'm fine, letting you choose this one because it'd be Chris Bryant for me, but
the only other guy I would consider would be Kiermaier. It's just I feel like I don't know. I think I would if I had to pick between Kiermaier and Bryant, I think I would lean towards Bryant.
Yeah. Just
because the park is pretty damn big over there, and Kiermaier he's got the upside. Don't get me wrong, but he's more of a get on base type of hitter. That's his normal comfort zone. He's not really a power guy. He's more of a stolen base threat, get you a single and steal. So I know he's had a couple games with a couple double dongs, and I'm not knocking him for that, but that's not really his style. So I think Bryant, home runs are his style. So I'm with that. I'm with Bryant there, man.
All right, cool.
All right, tier 5s. We got Scope, Mancini, Smoke, Simmons, Chris Davis with a K, Hoskins, Mark Reynolds, and Howie Kendrick.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mark Reynolds a little bit, but I gotta go with Chris Davis.
Yeah, Chris Davis against Heaney.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm with that against the lefty. We noted his ISO against lefties earlier this season was terrible, and we've started to kind of see that correct itself. We're starting to see that kind of switch. He's starting to match these lefties now, so I'm with that call, man.
Yeah, I mean the only thing is the park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Angels versus.
Yeah, but you know what? He plays in Oakland though, so he's got enough power that's
I know.
Yeah, man. He's got enough power. He's a strong dude.
Yep.
All right, tier 6, we got Dickerson, Souza, Whit Merrifield, Yonder Alonso, Kyle Seager, Freeman, Stanton, and Murphy.
Wow. It's an interesting tier.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Souza. I think he's home tomorrow, and I don't care. I think Stanton bows down to Scherzer. I think Scherzer's gonna do fine against him. I think he has that home run streak.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take the chance. It's you know what I mean? Like against Scherzer, why? Like that's my point. Like with outfielders especially, like if there's a 4-game, 5-game slate, I get it. Sometimes you have to play a guy because the spot is too good, and there might not be another outfielder that can match him. But on a 10-game or higher slate, like you mean to tell me that of all the outfielders, there's not one guy who has potential to hit a home run just like Stanton at like half his price? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's my issue. Like, yeah, he can hit a home run, but I still don't think like okay, so today you kind of needed Stanton in cash games, right? But you didn't necessarily need him in tournaments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in tournaments, there were guys you could have gone to that maybe aren't safe cash game plays that did just fine. So it's like, that's always been my issue with playing a guy. Like, I know he's hot, and like in cash games, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to play him in cash tomorrow against Scherzer. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, for me, I like Stanton. He's been red hot. It's been fun to watch. But to me, in tournaments, it just doesn't make sense for me to play the one outfielder on a huge slate that I know is going to be. It just doesn't make sense to me, And like, that's the thing. If he's not home runs, he's striking out. Yep. So it just doesn't. I just don't think it's necessary. But yeah, I'm with you. Souza again, and just to explain why I like Souza more and not Kiermaier, because like we just said, Kiermaier is not known for home runs. Souza is. Souza's a power. He hit home runs. That's what he does. I'm with it. And people never play Souza because a lot of people don't bother to look and see that he's a reverse splits guy.
Yeah, like dude, he's got like 30 home runs this year, and like 29 are off against righties.
It's
but whatever insane. The number is, it's ridiculous.
It's drastic, yeah.
His ISO against lefties is like 92.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Tier 7, Josh Bell, Kyle Schwarber, Jean Segura, Aaron Judge, Calhoun, Galvis, Iglesias, Margot. I'm assuming you're going to want to go with my boy Segura here.
Yeah, I do want to go with Segura.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it 100%. I like that call. Segura, just so people know, Segura is another reverse splits guy. He's another guy that typically he does a better job of getting on base and even has a little bit more power against righties. So I definitely like that call. Also some stolen base upside there too.
Yep, definitely.
All right, last one, tier 8. Adam Jones. We got Nunez, Benintendi, Lindor, and Encarnacion. I feel like I butchered that. Jed Lowry, Will Myers, and Buster Posey.
Edwin Encarnacion.
There you go.
But we will not be selecting him.
No, we will not. No, that's not happening.
I think we should go with Adam Jones or Andrew Benintendi. Which one do you think?
I like Adam Jones against the lefty. I do.
All right, cool.
I like that call. I think of this tier, he's going to be one of the more popular options, like without a doubt, because there's two guys going against Severino. Will Myers is going against the Shark. So I do think, but I just don't care. I like him in that spot. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
So there you go. We got Scherzer, Montgomery, Cruz, Bryant, Davis, Souza, Segura, Adam Jones. Again, that's just a first look lineup that we do. It's just for fun, just to kind of show you our thought process when we first look at these kind of deals. And it's a newer contest that DraftKings released, and we're into them trying innovative things. We want to show our support. So we do that just because people have asked us to. So, Paulie, before I wrap this up, we did have a couple questions that I wanted to ask you about. Robert Kahn wants to know who your favorite play is tomorrow, if you have one.
I mean, there's a bunch. I like Segura. I like Carlos Gonzalez. I like Brandon Moss. Hard to tell just yet. We'll see. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But those are some of the guys I'm liking right now.
Okay.
Oh, Nelson Cruz. And then, I really like Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz. Yes, that's a good point. That kind of leads into the next question, which was, who are the top 3 outfielders? It's a little early to say who our top 3 outfielders are on a 10-game slate, but why don't you just name a couple outfielders that you're looking at?
All right, let me pull up outfielders. All right.
It looks like there's a decent amount of Oakland love, it appears, in the chat right now. Well, it surprised me a little bit. I'm starting to think maybe people aren't respecting this Heaney guy a little bit.
I don't know. The Sharps will be on Heaney tomorrow.
The Sharps will be on him. Yeah, without a doubt. He's supposed to be good. He's got a good matchup.
Yeah, Carlos Gonzalez is probably my favorite outfielder, not just because he's the player of the month, but he's just in a great spot tomorrow. Chris Davis, I like with a K. Ian Happ, not bad. So Nelson Cruz, Chris Davis, Carlos Gonzalez. Those are my top 3 right now.
I'm with it. Oh, look at that. He was able to get the top 3 out. How about that? Guys, I want to take this opportunity to let you know that we still are offering the podcast discount. For those of you listening to the podcast, we appreciate you guys listening to the show, taking the time, giving us feedback, all that kind of stuff. And it means a lot to us. So in order to give back a little bit to you guys, we do offer specifically for the podcast listeners only a 20% discount on our subscription services, the monthly, weekly, and day passes. So take advantage of that while you can. It's definitely not something that we're always going to do, so you want to take advantage of that. If you sign up for the monthly pass with the promo code, that will apply going forward as long as you don't cancel your subscription. So definitely make sure it's still on the ground floor kind of for that deal. So go ahead and hop on there. Go to wisestake.com, sign up for the monthly package, type in the promo code podcast, and save yourself 20%. Paulie, man, it's been a week, man. I definitely missed it. I got to do a couple podcasts. Don't get me wrong, but it's it's not as fun doing it remotely. You like to be in your comfort zone.
Yeah. And, for sure.
So I definitely appreciate, man. This was a lot of fun, man. It's getting me motivated all over again for baseball and all that kind of stuff. Sure. So I appreciate that, Paulie.
Absolutely, man. And Nation, great slate tomorrow. We'll have this thing locked up for you by the time 5:30 rolls around. And be on the lookout for some more NFL division previews this week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, be on the lookout. We're gonna start pumping out some of that football stuff, and it's coming up. So yeah, we should have a lot of exciting content with some of our writers. You might see some more football articles, like Paulie said. We're gonna try our best to cover each division that we can for football and get a little preview, because not only does it help you guys, but it helps us too. We've been so focused in baseball, just breathing, eating, sleeping baseball. So now we gotta we gotta show a little love for football. We do. So we will. All right, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please do me a favor. Click that like button, man. It means a lot to us. It makes a difference. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's growing, and we want to keep it growing, man. It's a wonderful thing. And it keeps us motivated to see those numbers creep up. So do us a favor and do that. If you're listening on Podbean, the audio-only version, give us a follow. If you're listening on iTunes, subscribe to the channel there. Give us some 5-star reviews. Bump us up the charts. And the way it works is that when you give us 5-star reviews, we start bumping up those charts. More people find us. More people are happy. More people are winning. It's better for the industry. So just do us a favor and give us some 5-star reviews. But anyway, for Paulie, for myself, for the entire Wise Take Nation, thank you for watching, and as always, good luck.
Peace.
Yeah.